What generally happens is that a person is sent to a hospital or to an outpatient center. A competency evaluation is conducted, and if the person is found to be competent, mentally competent to stand trial, they go back and stand trial. If they are found incompetent to stand trial, so mentally ill that they cannot meet the criteria for competency, then they will be sent to a hospital for treatment until such time as they regain their competency. Okay, what though would happen if an individual is so impaired, either so psychotic, so intellectually limited, so severely brain impaired, brain damaged, that they will never regain competency? Refusal of treatment. The only difference between Rennie and the Rogers case, or the Rogers v. Okun case, is that in the Rogers versus Okun, in contrast to there being an informal hearing within the hospital, in Rogers versus Okun, the patient was entitled to a full judicial hearing, could be represented by counsel, and so on. Okay. When we come to the United States Supreme Court, come to a case called Washington versus Harper in 1990. Now, Harper is an individual who is actually not in a mental hospital. He is in the prison system in the state of Washington. He is psychotic. They want to medicate. Came to a screeching halt because people misunderstood Daubert. They thought that Daubert applied, that the scientific criteria applied to all testimony. The criteria were that there was a testable hypothesis. Number two, the hypothesis has been tested. Three, the tests have a known error rate. Four, they have been published. Five, peer-reviewed. And six, generally accepted. Now, we could go into a lot of detail, but you see what the problem is here. Just about any kind of mental health testimony does not have a testable hypothesis. In other words, some problems defining what it was, whether or not the fact that a person had okay intellectual functioning, it wasn't significantly sub-average, but they did have some real impairments in adaptive functioning. How do you balance the two? I remember being involved in a few cases where that was really problematic. Had this one guy, his IQ was somewhere in the mid 70s, but he had had an absolutely horrible history. We had actually neurological records from hospital where he was born.